That was a good cookie, right?
That's good.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Film Hustlers.
There we go. You almost forgot, didn't you?
No, I did not. I love the new name, though.
Good.
I think people are loving the new name.
Yeah.
I'm eating a cookie, if you're wondering. I'm eating a chocolate chip cookie.
Is that an edible chocolate chip cookie?
Yeah, it's delicious.
They're delicious.
It'd be funny if they had, like, remember when you were a kid and mom would put out, like, the fruit that was fake? Did you guys ever do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. What if there was fake cookies? That'd be mean.
I have those. My 6-year-olds use them all the time, and they're like toy
for their kitchen?
Yeah, I had one this morning with a fake glass of milk.
Jesus.
Keeps the calories off.
Hey, well, I'm excited about this season. It's our 4th season.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing we're going to be doing something different this season, which I'm really actually excited about. We're going to be raising money for our own film. For a couple of years, we've been telling people how to do it and what to do and get inspired and get inspiring people on the show. But the truth is that unless you show someone how to do it, it's almost like the people that are listening to the show are interns, right, on a show.
Right.
And we're going to show they're going to be involved in every aspect of what we're doing. Right now, on this show, we're going to do a pitch fest, basically. So the 3 of us are going to pitch ideas, and then we're going to decide which idea we want to produce as a short movie.
Or a feature. Depending.
Depends.
Right, Dave?
I like that.
But look, one thing that I think as a good conversation, if you're a filmmaker, and we should have it, is there's a difference. And I don't know, I've met a lot of filmmakers and I've known a lot of filmmakers, young filmmakers, all people that are excited. They want to do their movies. They want to, they're going to do a feature. Why? The explanation is because why do a short when really it's the same amount of energy to do a feature and I have the money and it doesn't matter because I'm getting everything for free. That's fine. But my argument continues to be, if you're doing a 7-minute movie, and let's say you're doing 2 pages a day, 2, 4, 6, that's 3 days, 3.5 days. You can make a great movie, have everyone take their time, have every actor relax, have the director really work with the actor, and get your scene to be like this superb scene.
Right.
Have all kinds of takes for it. Or you do a full feature for $1 million, which is now 80 to 90 pages, 90 minutes worth of work. You do the math. If you do 90 pages over how many days? 10 days? That's 9 pages a day. You're going to have time for
14
nothing.
days. Let's do 14 days.
You're going to have time for nothing. Okay, let's say you do 15 days. You're still doing 6 pages a day. That's still a truckload of pages to shoot in one day.
I think
a
it
lot
depends
of pages.
on the script, too.
Right. Are you just going to sit people at a table and go like, okay,
Yeah.
shoot Dave, shoot you, shoot me for 6 pages? It's going to be boring.
No, but you can utilize your environment. Like, okay, let's go into the garage. Let's go in the backyard. I mean, how many locations did you have on that last Christmas movie you did? Not a lot. And you did that in 14 days, right?
Yeah, but I was outside. I had a stage show. I had a redo of a barn. I had choreography. I had dancing. I had music.
You had dancing, choreography. You had to deal with the elements.
I also had millions of dollars.
How much did you have for that?
And I had a bunch of crew members that all had worked with me in the past.
Yeah.
So it was like, and we had a director who worked super fast too. So why force yourself into a situation where you know that you won't be able to do like quality work? Because at the end of the day, and this isn't a knock on filmmakers that make movies for $1 million. I'm not trying to say anything negative. I'm just trying to say that I've never met one that has been happy with his $1 million movie. I've never met one that doesn't give excuses for why it doesn't look great.
So the $1 million movie, he should take the $1 million and do a short, is what you're saying.
No, I say take $250 and do a short. Take $150 and do a short. Like leave the $1 million in an escrow account.
Yeah.
Prove that your movie's going to be absolutely watchable to the point where people are going, oh my God, this has to be a feature. And I'm talking about not your tia and your tío telling you that your movie should be a feature, like an executive coming to you and going like, dude, can you turn this into a feature? I'll give you $10 million to do so, or $7 million or $6 million. Because it happens, right? I've given lots of examples.
Anything in the last 20 years?
Yeah,
10 years?
Saw.
Yeah, Saw.
Was 20 years ago? That was like 20 years ago.
Maybe, but it's still terrific. You got Saw. You've got Whiplash was within the past 10 years.
Sling Blade, that's over 20
Sling
years.
Blade was over 20 years ago. Sling Blade got made because of the character. Think about this. Napoleon Dynamite got made because of that character, right? So there's big original characters in these movies. Whiplash, villainous character. So, you could learn from that.
You're talking about the teacher.
Yeah, you could either learn from that or say like, oh, I see what people are responding to in these films. Don't you want to tell a story that is universal, like take DNA out of this dinosaur bone?
God, here we go.
I take DNA out of this dinosaur bone. I create a dinosaur, and then I create a park, and then the dinosaurs get out, and mayhem ensues.
You know what's funny? You bring that up as I was reading something today about
Jurassic Park?
plants. No, about plants and how they're able to extract DNA, and these plants started growing again. Of these fossilized plants or some shit like that. So it's similar to that. This is real life. It's not your Jurassic Park pitch.
Life will find a way.
But it's
there you go. Hey, but on this show, we're going to be doing a pitch fest. We're going to be pitching our ideas for our own movie that we're going to raise the money for. It could be a short. It could be a feature.
Short. It's a short.
I'm just saying. I don't want to see you and Davey Dave running around sweating, getting like Subway sandwiches for everybody in the middle of like 101 degree weather.
Why? That's filmmaking. No one right, wants
Davey
Dave?
And running camera and boom at the same time.
No, bro. Filmmaking is when you could just sit there and talk about a character in a scene for a couple of hours and figure out what the subtext is.
Wow. Dude, have you ever worked with Lopez? That ain't happening. You try to talk about him. Talk to him about his character and be like, "What are you talking about? Let's go. I got to go to the gym,
dude. I got to get out. Hey, Sam, can I get out of here like at 2? No, we're working until 8.
Your call time is 1. You want to leave in an hour? Yeah, I'm gonna go bust one. Gotta bust one and then eat.
The debate of whether it should be a short or feature continues. Let's get into pitching. If you're listening, get your pencil and paper.
Here we go, pencil and paper. I'm gonna go with 2022. I'm gonna pick up my phone that has my notes.
But definitely listen up. We're gonna be pitching ideas, and some of the ideas are gonna be good. Some of our ideas will not be great, or they won't get across, or we'll forget what we're saying or whatever. But this is gonna be live and for real and no editing. So
that's it.
So who wants to go first? You guys want to Rochambeau about it, or
should we roll, or should we just? I got 3. What do you got, David?
I said I got 1, so you go ahead.
What do you got, Rob?
I got 2.
Since you got 3, go for it. You knock one out.
All right. I'm going to give you guys... So I got a dark comedy, I got a crime drama, and another dark comedy. Dave, what do you want to hear
Crime
first?
drama.
Crime drama. Okay. Ironically, this is kind of a play on Taxi Driver.
Okay.
It's called Alternate Route.
It's called Uber Driver. No, I'm kidding. Go.
Yeah. After losing his teenage son to suicide, followed by losing his job as a decorated LAPD detective, this distraught and insomniac ex-cop attempts to put his life back together by taking a job as a driver for a high-end car service. That by day, and at night, because he can't sleep, he does a ride sharing. So the two worlds take a toll on this already damaged soul. And when he overhears one of his most powerful and influential clients is running an after-hours prostitution ring using trafficked teens for LA's elites, he has had enough. Not able to go to the cops, he decides to take the matters into his own hands, even if it costs him his life.
So it's kind of a little vigilante.
It's super vigilant.
I like that.
No, so that was my pitch. Alternate routes.
Okay. Nice. Like it. Love the vigilante idea.
All right, so mine's going to be real quick.
Okay, cool. And I like real quick.
I've shared with Robert a little taste, so I'll share with Tootie and our audience here. So picture this.
Picture this.
Could be inner city. I would say maybe like middle-aged gentleman. It could be young, 30s maybe. He's involved with some gangs. He's not on the right path. He gets into some trouble, and then he ends up either shooting or stabbing somebody in the heart. Okay, goes away. Whatever happens in jail happens in jail. He could find some reform inside, whether it be through Jesus, through a mentor, something like that. He does his bit. He comes back out, He tries to reacquaint with his family, reunite. And then, he's out and about. He's on his parole, probation, whatever it is. And then he comes across a situation where, it could have been, I don't know, maybe like a robbery in place, or, another shooting happened while he was in the midst. And then there was a bystander who was just, around. And this guy has like a heart attack. And then he sees that, and he goes and helps him. Maybe he learns something in jail, how to save a life.
Oh, that's cool.
And, he does maybe like a CPR type move on him and saves the guy's life.
Cool. Could it be like a Shawshank Redemption sort of thing? Like you can add some sort of bells and whistles to it?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. Yeah.
So
it's just up and down.
So maybe he goes to jail for some good reason.
Well,
he killed somebody.
My thinking is
paying attention.
No, but I mean, maybe the death of that person is not clear, right? Not, like, people can kill someone in like that act of passion
yes,
or whatever,
yes,
right?
Yes. Yeah, that's
That's
great.
Shawshank Redemption,
that's great. Yeah,
right? So it's the same
Well,
kind of thing.
he was framed. Dufresne was framed. Remember?
Right. So there's lots of different ways to set up your murder,
Right.
so that it's not just a straight like
Gang.
somebody killed somebody, right? There could be like some
Yes,
elements to that,
absolutely.
and then he can learn something in prison, and then it can go full circle to the end. That's great.
Yeah.
Cool. Love it.
Yeah.
See what we did there? That turned into both pitches very, very good. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a short. I was thinking about this. I think I already told you guys about this one, but it's not a comedy. It's kind of a dark comedy. It's about a comedian, male comedian. He's in his 20s. He's horrible, a horrible comedian. In fact, he gets angry all the time, always gets in fights. Anyway, he's on stage, opening scene. He's on stage. He's doing his comedy. He's bombing. People are throwing shit. They're heckling. But he notices out of the corner of his eye, there's a girl sitting in the corner with an older man, and she's laughing her ass off, right? She's dying laughing, like she's knocking over drinks like crazy, loving this guy. And so he keeps like doing his thing, and everyone's hating him, and they're all heckling, and she's cracking up. So he finds it kind of interesting and fairly sexy, right? That someone likes him that much. She's sort of cute. So anyway, he finally gets thrown off the stage and gets thrown, he gets into a fist fight on his way down the thing and ends up knocking over the girl's table, and she's dying, still laughing her ass off, right? So anyway, so he goes back and he's in the bathroom cleaning himself up, wiping the blood off his forehead. And the guy that's with that girl goes into the bathroom and says, "Hey, I want to hire you." And he's like, "What are you talking? I'm going to kick your ass. What are you doing? Like, are you heckling me?" He's like, no, I'm not heckling you. My daughter, who's laughing her head off out there, loves you, thinks you're terrific, and she's got a terminal illness, and I just want you to hang out with her, and I'll pay you $100,000. For how long? He's like, I don't know the answer to how long.
Yeah.
So he thinks about it and he takes the job, right? Because he just got banned from whatever comedy store he was at. So he shows up the next day, and he starts hanging out with this girl. Needless to say, they fall in love. And it's a very tough situation. But through it all, they end up, she encourages him to continue to do comedy and to maybe adjust it a little bit, but really not to change, because he reminds her of like the Lenny Bruces and, the crazy comedians. So anyway, they have we do a montage of like this great 5-month period that they spend together. He actually becomes a funnier person because of her, and he becomes a lighter person, and his life starts to make sense a little bit. Of course, we have the issues of that he's being paid, right? That eventually she finds out and causes a big ruckus, right? Because she didn't know that happened. The week comes when she's getting very ill. She's kind of ending up in the hospital, but he gets a call from the comedy store, and they're like, "Hey, we want to book you in the big room. We heard you're really funny, and we want you to do your own show." And he finds it odd, but he's like, "This is my dream come true, so I'm going to do it," right? So she's like really excited for him, and her health is really going down now. She's looking kind of white, and she can't leave her room. And anyway, so he goes the night of his show. He had been talking to her about what he was going to do and, how he was going to do it. And he goes on stage and, he starts his show, and people are laughing, like really laughing, like the whole room's really laughing and cracking up, and you kind of flash to her in the hospital, where her last moments are happening, and he realizes that he's actually not that funny. So he starts to know that it's very possible that she booked this for him and paid for the whole thing, and that it's all a setup. Yeah. So he starts telling really bad jokes on purpose, and he starts to notice people are laughing. So he drops the mic, runs down, gets out, can't get a taxi because he doesn't have a car, can't get an Uber. He starts running, and of course it should be raining, maybe. It's independent, no money, so it's not raining. But so he's running, and he ends up at the hospital, and he walks in, and it's like, her last moments, and he walks in and just becomes a completely different person because of her, and realizes how much she loved him and what she did for him, and it changes his life. And then that's where the movie ends. And I don't know if I'm gonna, if we do it, I would get a writer to sort of find an ending that pushed us a year in the future, where maybe he's a success, or maybe he's still having fights in her behalf. I don't know. That's it. That's the pitch.
Nice.
Yeah, I like it.
As much as I like that idea, I think it's a very hard movie to make, because the comedian has to be right.
Don't talk yourself out of your own
the
pitch,
comedian
fool.
has
You can't
to be,
do that.
The comedian has to be great. The girl has to be great, and you have to really believe that she likes him. It can't be acted. You have to believe that they have a connection, which I think in the end is really what it was all about. It was a connection.
Yeah.
And he needed her as much as she needed him, and the money didn't matter. And it really wasn't about the money. It was about like finding himself in someone else's eyes. And sometimes you just need someone to like you, or to like what you're doing, so that you can realize that you're worth something. And I think that's what the story's about.
My mom's like that. She likes what I'm doing.
But anyway, so that's my pitch. You go.
I liked it.
Yeah.
All right.
What do you got? Dark comedy?
Yeah, I got 2 dark comedies. Which one you want? Want me to pick one? One of them you guys have already heard.
Pick the best one.
Well, they're both really... Fuck, dude, if you want me to pick the best, it's like picking kids. My kids are amazing. Dying to Know, I've already pitched you guys, but I'll pitch it again. But I'll pitch you guys Dying to Know. When an aging mob boss walks away from the witness protection program after 2 decades, he's left to fend for himself. His many identities while in the program begin to haunt him, and when dementia sets in, things go from bad to worse. With no protection from the federal government, this once powerful crime boss is discovered, and the stale contract on his life kicks back in. But when his assailant, contracted to kill him, takes pity on the mentally ill old man after recently watching his own father succumb to the same disease, he decides to help him in his last weeks of life. Does a hitman with a heart and a dark past get credit with God for his good deed, or is it a deadly mistake? Can a tiger change his stripes, or does a vicious crime boss become a boss by doing the unthinkable and unsuspected?
That could be a great short. That could be a great short. It's an acting piece.
Yeah.
That's why you take your time with something like that.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's nice. Good job. What do you like about that story?
Reset. Obviously, the genre I'm a fan of. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I got the idea from a podcast with a guy named Frank Collada when he was saying he was in witness protection for decades, and he started to forget who he was, and he finally left. So I was like, wow, that's interesting. He didn't have dementia, but I just kind of started thinking, what if this guy had dementia? And so I like the whole thing about a guy being hiding out from his true identity, and then saying, screw it, I'm just going to live my life. But then his past comes back to haunt him, you know what I mean? And then, with the hitman coming to kill him, he's dealing with his own demons. You got this frail old man who has
He can turn it around at the very end, right?
Well, yeah.
He could turn around and be like, I know exactly who I am. Pull out a gun and shoot that dude.
Exactly.
So he's been playing him the whole time.
Or he hasn't. He just decided at that moment he had some type of clarity, and he realized who he was.
I'll tell you what, that's a writer's piece. I think that could be very cool. I think that's awesome. That's a neat idea.
Wow. Did you hear that, Davey Dave? We got this. Hey, make sure we're recording. Roberts just said, wow, I think that's a great idea. And Tootie, pitched that Okay.
That was a good idea.
Oh,
you just have
damn,
that
twice.
has to be written really well. All right, so I've got one more. This might be. Oh, actually, do you have another one?
No, I don't. Go for it.
Okay, so I have one more. This I'm going to try to make this short, but it's going to feel long.
That's okay. Take your time.
Okay, here we go. This is called Revenge of the Mexican. It opens to a guy named Phil Schuster. He's likely Jewish. He's driving a Range Rover. He's singing, having a good time. He pulls into a Starbucks parking lot. He parks sideways, like really off in a handicap zone. He pulls out his handicap sticker. He puts it out. He's obviously not handicapped. He gets out of his car and he's heading. He leaves everything sort of in, his phone. He leaves a briefcase, got everything sort of out there. He gets out of his car. And this homeless guy goes, "Hey, sir, I'll watch your car for $1." And Phil turns around and says, "You know what? I don't need you to watch my car for $1. A car's worth $100,000. And I've got 3 different anti-theft things on it. I've got LoJack on there. I've got Viper on there. I've got things that you don't even understand. Things I got from NASA. That's how great this car is." He said, "So I don't need you watching my car for $1. I'm going to go get my coffee now." Phil runs inside the place. Enter Javier Casillas, handsome Latino man driving a lowrider car, spots the Range Rover, pulls in behind the coffee shop, parks his car. He happens to have a screwdriver in the ignition. He gets out of the car. He's walking over to the Range Rover, and he looks at the homeless guy and says, "Are you watching this car?" He's like, "As a matter of fact, I am not watching that car." He's like, "Okay." So he goes over, he's about to steal it, and the guy goes, "Oh, wait. It's got Viper, LoJack, and some shit from NASA." He's like, "Ooh, okay, thanks." So he does a couple of things, jumps in the car, takes off. Car's gone. Phil Schuster comes out with his coffee, some kind of macchiato ice thing, and he walks over and he's like, "I parked my car right here." And he looks over at the guy, goes, "Where's my car?" He's like, "I have no idea. I was not watching it." So Phil's like, so he runs inside, he borrows a phone. He knows that he left his phone in the car. So he calls his own phone, and Javier Casillas decides, "I'm going to answer the call. Hello, this is your car thief." And Phil Schuster's like, "Look, I understand you stole my car. I work for a huge corporation, and I'm supposed to deliver this pitch today, which is this big movie that we're making, and I need you to bring my car back right away. And I don't know how we're going to do this. I'm not going to report you. I'll give you $1,000. I give you $1,000. You bring my car back right now." He's like, "Well, look, I work for a big corporation too, and this car is on their list, and I have to take it. So I'm sorry. This is it's not going to be a negotiable situation. I got to go." He goes, "Hey, well, hang on." He goes, "There's a manuscript on the front seat, and I need that. So maybe we can make a deal. You bring the manuscript back." He goes, Javier's like, "Well, why don't you? What are you pitching? What's the story?" He's like, "Oh my God, dude, I'm not going to pitch you my story. You're a car thief." Like, what? He's like, "Look, just pitch me the story. Tell me the story. If I like the story, maybe I'll bring your car back." He's like, "Okay." He's like, "It's this zombie apocalyptic movie where they're in an ice glacier and this virus gets out and it's infecting people and it creates zombies and the world becomes an apocalypse, and that's what's going on in the movie." And Javier's like, "Huh." He goes, I love zombie movies." He goes, "But wouldn't it be better if the virus came from a pyramid in Mexico, right? Where the Aztecs created some sort of virus back in the day to combat people, but it was so evil that they had to seal it in a pyramid. And then present day, like some Indiana Jones handsome Latino guy, actor plays an Indiana Jones character, and they release it, and everyone's turning into zombies except for Mexicans." That's a better idea, Phil. He's like, "Look, man," he goes, "obviously you're a car thief. You're not a filmmaker. Leave the filmmaking to me." He goes, "Look, I'll make you an associate producer. Bring me my car back. I'll make you an associate producer. I'll give you 5 points on the back end." He's like, "Look, Phil, I know producers get 7 points on the back end." So he's like, "I'll tell you what. I understand. You got to pitch. You're not listening to me. That's fine. There's a lowrider behind the coffee shop There's a screwdriver in it. Go ahead and light that thing up. Meet me at the King Taco in East Los Angeles. We'll trade cars and we'll call it a day. Seems like you have a pretty interesting movie. I still think you should consider making it Latino because it's very hip today. Phil gets into the lowrider, turns it on with the screwdriver, and 3 seconds later, police officers pull him over, arrest him, take him to jail. This was all set up by Javier, by the way, because he called immediately and said, "Hey, I lost my car, and I think it's behind the Starbucks." Javier decides to take the meeting that Phil was going to take at the studio at Universal. He shows up in the Range Rover. He goes to the gate. He says, "Hi, I'm Javier Casillas. I'm with Schuster Pictures," or whatever the name of the company is. "And I'm going to be, I have a big pitch today about a zombie movie." And they're like, "Oh yeah, is Phil Schuster's supposed to be here?" "Yeah, I'm here in place. Phil's not feeling well today, so I'm taking his place." So they park him. They valet park him. He shows up. He walks upstairs. There's a meeting room with 15 executives. They're all white, of course. And he's got a long hair, so he puts it in a ponytail. It's funny because the assistant comes up to Javier and goes like, "Hey, can I get you a cup of coffee, or water, or Coke, or anything?" He's like, "Yeah, can I get a cup of coffee and a little skim milk, just a little bit of skim milk, and one Splenda." Okay, picture this. It's a movie called Revenge of the Mexicans. And it's about a zombie apocalypse that starts with the Aztecs. Anyway, he pitches the whole thing. And all of these executives are like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. This is exactly what the world is looking for." What happens is he ends up pitching and selling the pitch. And that's where the movie ends.
What happens to fucking Phil Schuster?
Phil Schuster got arrested and fired.
He's still in prison?
He's out.
No, I mean, look, if the movie went on, what happens is Javier Casillas goes to the offices of the production company and says, "Hey, Phil Schuster got arrested. He's been doing drugs and stealing cars, and I don't know what to tell you." So the president of that company goes, "I knew it. I knew Phil was a loser." So they fire Phil, and he ends up, on the outs, and they don't ever see him again.
I like it. It has a little bit of a Trading Places feel.
Yeah, that's funny.
I mean, if it was a feature, you could have Phil Schuster and Javier Casillas end up joining forces in the end if the studio's evil. But this isn't a feature, it's a short. So in the end, it's really just about wish fulfillment, right? It's about a guy who has the talent to be more than a car thief, and he ends up taking his opportunity when he sees it and ends up kind of ruining Phil's life. But the studio really likes his idea. Phil might have not have sold his. You never know.
Yeah.
Mike Addis wrote it. You guys know Mike?
Yeah.
Mike Addis wrote it. I've always been a big fan of it. And I called him and I asked him if I could pitch it. So if you're listening, Mike, thank you. Dude, this pitch fest's getting good.
It's getting good. All right.
So how are we going to decide?
So
This is going to be hard to decide. Dude.
That's the real question.
This is going to be difficult. I think we don't decide on the show. Let's think about it, sleep on it,
Yeah.
listen to the show. If you're listening to the show, send us your ideas via Instagram.
That's what we need. We need the audience to kind of like.
I wonder if can we do a thing where on Instagram where people can pick, they can say yes or no or check or something like that. Can we do that?
Of course. Yeah.
Well, if you like any of them, let us know. And then in the meantime, us three should think about it.
Yeah.
And then maybe on the next show we'll pick which one we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do that. Also, I want to thank our friends over at extrememusic.com for always supporting the show. It's amazing how much support we get from Russ Emanuel.
Who will also be a part of this project, right?
Yeah, he's going to be a part of this project because we're going to do all the music with extrememusic.com. And he's also going to be on the show in the next couple of weeks, talking about what they're doing at Extreme Music. I just did a movie called Stepping Into the Holiday where I used a lot of Extreme Music. In fact, I told the editor, only use extrememusic.com because you won't need anything else. And that's how we found most of the music. Yeah. We did not use another site, and it really worked out for us. So thank you, Russ. Thank you, extrememusic.com. If you're looking for music for your projects, you got to check them out. They're amazing. There's nothing you can't find. All types of music there for whatever it is that you're working on. All right. Well, you're going to be directing. Dave's going to be producing. So it's important that you...
And acting.
And acting. So you have to... Well, if you're the director, then you get to cast Dave. But yeah, let's think about it. think about what the best bang for our buck's going to be here. And, if investors might be listening, and if you know an investor that's interested in any of these ideas, send them the podcast, tell them to pick one and contact us. We'll work with anybody.
You know what investors like, Robert?
What's that?
They like wine.
Do they?
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, tequila is what the investors I've worked with like tequila, man. Anyway, that was a great job. Great pitches, great ideas. Let's think about them, and we will see you next time on Film Hustlers. We will be making a movie.